Today I'm going to show you how to put some images into your projects in Premiere. This is something that you will probably need to do for your documentary, so I'm going to show you how to do it. Got an open sequence here, and I've gone ahead and put that in the canvas for you, so you can go ahead and start with this. Going ahead and made the timeline and everything for you, and you're also going to bring in this image that I'm providing of a horse. Look at that, beautiful. If I drag it into the sequence, it's automatically going to be 5 seconds, because that's how I've got my thing set up. If yours is different, it may be smaller, but by default, mine is 5 seconds. So you can notice that the image is looking a little funky. So we're going to do a couple of things that will not take long to make your images look better. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the size, and I'm going to do that by setting to frame size. So now we can see, okay, now I can see the image, but now I got these black bars on either side. It could look a little better. So I'm gonna hold down Alt while I drag up, and now I've got two. I got a top layer and a bottom layer. They look the same because they're the same thing. The bottom layer, I'm gonna go to Effect Controls, and I'm gonna make that a little bigger so that it fills up the sides. And now I've got stuff on either side here. Still looks a little funky, so I'm going to go to find some blur, and down here in video effects and blur and sharpen, there's a bunch of different options. I'm going to go with Gaussian blur. You can use other different types of blur if you like, but it doesn't really matter. When I apply that effect to the bottom layer, it's not going to do anything because at the moment it is stuck at 0%. So all I got to do is blur it a little bit, and that looks a little better. It looks a little better. So that's one way you can use images that are not the same size as your video. Second thing I want to show you how to do is how to move it a little bit. And this is going to involve using keyframes. So I'm going to take the top layer because it doesn't have any blur. And that's using Alt again, Alt and dragging to make a second copy. And I'm going to need to go up here to my effects controls, and I'm going to zoom in. So this is a pretty good sized image. If you have a smaller picture, it may not work as well, so it's always good to get the highest resolution you can so that it'll look as good as it can for your project. You've got your position up here. I'm going to move it just a little bit, and a lot of times what documentaries will do, they'll either pan through the image or they'll zoom in and zoom out a little bit. So I'm going to start at the end of the image, and I'm going to say this is what I want it to look like when I'm done. So I'm going to scale. I'm going to put keyframes on for position and scale at the end of this thing. And then I'm going to go back to the beginning of this image, and I'm going to change that a little bit. So you can make the scale a little bit different. You can make the position a little bit different. So you can see the keyframes now popped up at the beginning, and they're still there at the end. So it's just going to move a little bit. And that makes your image, for a still image, it makes it a little more interesting. That's all you got to do. I want you to see that you can do this effect where you've got the blurred image in the background, and then also that you do a little bit of movement with your pictures.